There's about anywhere from 10 to 20 second delay usually.
Class 1 is now entering the ring. This is your first call for Class 2, Wayne County born and raised market lamb. First call, Class 2. That's lambs weighing 121 to 125.
Okay. I'll try it?
Second call, Wayne County bred, born and raised market lamb, Class 2. Second call, Class 2, lambs weighing 121 to 125.
We just wondered who won Showmanship.
The award for this class is sponsored
What? There was no second. No.
by Zimmerly Club Lambs.
nice class of lightweight wethers here. Young ladies wether that wins the class does so by some margin in my mind. Just a really smooth made, really complete wether that puts a lot of good things together. Really handles nice and looks good on the profile. Young lady does a good job getting that one shown. Next young lady's got a really nice profiling wether. Certainly he's got a lot of muscle down its top. Just when I get behind him, needs to have a little more muscle, and you know, he tends to get a little bit deeper chested when we look at him here on the profile. But another really complete lamb. The young lady's done a good job feeding that one. Next young lady's got one that certainly handles with a lot of shape down through its top. Got a lot of dimension down in his lower leg. He gets a little bit coarser through his front end, the way he's made, and need to widen out his hip and level it off to get him up any higher in this class. But certainly a stout-made lamb. Young lady does a good job with that one. Next young man's wether handles really nice. He's done a good job feeding him. Just as you can see on the profile, gets a little bit roached in his top. We need to change his structure to make him better there. Next young lady's wether, certainly one that when she gets him on the move, has really good structure. Just when we're on the profile, I need to get his front end up a little more. He needs to be a little more extended there. He needs to have a little more shape throughout to get any higher in this class. Some of the other sheep down the line, we get into these lightweight wethers, just need to have more overall width and muscle to get up any higher. But a really nice class. Let's give these kids a round of applause.
This is your first call for Class 3 Wayne County born and raised market lambs. First call, Class 3. That's lambs weighing 127 to 130. Now entering the ring is Class 2 Wayne County born and raised. The results of the last class are as follows. In 8th place, Mason Johnson. In 7th place, Tyler Arns. In 6th place, Hallie Miller. In 5th place, Kaya Gosser. In 4th place, Boaz Keller. In 3rd place, Kaylee Krug. In 2nd place, Callie Opplinger. And in 1st place, Charity Keller. This is your second call for Class 3 Wayne County born and raised market lamb. Second call, Class 3. The sponsor for this class is Byzantin Show Lambs.
nice class here, and the young lady's got a really, really well-made lamb to start the class. I love the design. I love the build of this lamb. Does he need to be a little trimmer? Definitely. I would love to make him a little trimmer, but he's a really wide-made, heavy-muscled lamb that I think cutability-wise will still be okay. I just love the way he's made. I love the way he's built. I'm going to use that one to start the class. Young man's got a really rugged-made wether here in second, big-footed, big-boned, certainly one that's got a lot of shape down through his loin and down through his hip and leg. I'd just like to give him more rib shape. I'd like to give him more shape up on his top and smooth out of his front end a little bit. He gets a little bit coarser fronted. You can certainly see that when you get him on the move. But another sheep that the young man's done a good job feeding, done a good job showing, certainly a nice sheep. The next young man's got a really hard handling wether that he's done a good job showing, done a good job feeding as well. He's got definitely more shape up over on top of his rack than the lamb in front of him. Just one that gets a little plainer, a little coarser about the way it's made. He needs to be more extended up front, needs to have a little more set to that rear hock, but another really nice sheep. Young man that comes here in fourth, a really good handling trim sheep that's very tall fronted and level top. Just need to widen him out, give him more overall shape and muscle, especially when I look at him from behind. And next young man's got one that, when you get him on the move, a well-made sheep that certainly works a lot of shape down his top, really big ribbed and pulled apart. Just one that maybe has spent a couple, too many days on feed. He could be better cutability-wise, but young man does a good job with that one. Some of the other sheep on down the line just need to offer more width and overall power to get it any higher. Thank you.
Now entering the ring is Wayne County bred, born, and raised Class 3. This is your first call for Wayne County bred, born, and raised Class 4. Lambs weighing 131 to 134. The results of your last class are as follows. In eighth place, Bethany Gosser. In 7th place, Mallory Johnson. In 6th place, Jesse Hyatt. In 5th place, Blake Simmons. In 4th place, Ty Clark. In 3rd place, Hunter Strock. In 2nd place, Kellen Aiken. And in 1st place, Bryn Shear.
Really nice top two at the top of this class. The young ladies' weather certainly impresses me. A really big-footed weather that's tall-fronted. When she gets him driving, he's really level-made, and one that when I get my hands on him handles extremely, extremely good. Young lady's done a good job getting this one fed and getting this one shown. Next young lady's got a really cool square-made sheep. He's really wide-chested, big-ribbed, and big on his top. I'd like to make him a little bit better over his loin edge, and then when we get him on the profile, you know, he needs to be a little bit taller fronted, a little more elevated up front to match up with the lamb that beats him. But the young lady does a good job with that one, certainly one that she's done a good job feeding. And the next young lady's got one that really profiles real well, a big-footed, rugged Mayweather. Just needs to be a little smoother up front. To me, needs to handle a little harder and a little trimmer to compare with the other two, the two that beat him. I'd like to give him a little more shape out of his hip as well, but certainly a nice leather that you did a good job with. The next young lady got one that really is long and level, just needs opened up in his chest floor and his width throughout. Needs more overall muscle to compete with the others that beat him. The same could be said with the two that round out the class. Just need more overall width and muscle to get up any higher, but guys have done a good job feeding these ones. Give these kids a round of applause.
Now entering the ring is Wayne County bred, born, and raised Class 4. This is your first call for Wayne County bred, born, and raised Class 5. Lambs weighing 135 to 138. The placings of the last class are as followed. In 6th place, Kayla Lane. In 5th place, Elliot Daly. In 4th place, Lauren Bauman. In 3rd place, Alyssa Simmons. In 2nd place, Gracie Clark. And in 1st place, Mackenzie Wolford. This is your second call for Class 5, Wayne County bred, born, and raised market lambs. Second call, Class 5. The sponsor for this class is Zimmerly Club Lambs. This is your final call for Wayne County bred, born, and raised Class 5. Final call.
If your exhibitor receives a blue, red, yellow, or white card today during our show, they need to be ready to line up for the champion drive following all of the Wayne County bred, born, and raised classes. We are going to name a top 10 overall for Wayne County bred, born, and raised. Then we will follow immediately into our regular market lamb class. We will name a top 10 for the regular market lamb class, and then we will show for grand and reserve overall.
Got a really stout-made, rugged-made wether to start the class. A really big top, big ribbed wether that's got tons of shape down through his lower leg. I love the way this sheep handles when I get my hands on him. One that I'll certainly admit from the side, I'd like to change the way he is through his shoulder. I'd like to make him a little smoother and more consistent in his top line, and I'd like to level him out through his hip. But one that I just can't get out of first place because of the amount of shape that this sheep has. I love the profile of the sheep in second. I love the way that sheep's made, and I will grant that he's better fronted all day long. But just when I get behind him, when I get my hands on him, he handles really good, really firm. He just doesn't have the overall shape that the lamb does in front of him, not even close when you get behind him. So the young man here in third, one that certainly handles a lot of shape down his top, a really big ribbed wether that's got a lot of shape down through his lower leg. I just like to make him better on the profile in comparison to the young lady's wether in front of him. He needs to be a little bit deeper in his flank in comparison to his chest furrow. I'd like to make him a little bit better in his neck set up front, but one that certainly got a lot of product to offer. The young lady's wether here in fourth, one that handles really good. We just like to give him a little more foot and bone, like to redesign him in his structure up front, especially when we get him on the side profile. He's got a little extra hock behind, just gets a little plainer in terms of the way he's made, but the young lady's done a good job feeding this one. Got a really long, extended lamb to be fifth in the class. Really handles with a lot of shape over his top. Just needs to have more overall skeletal width and muscle from behind to get any higher in that class. And the same goes for the next two young ladies, or young man's wether that is here. Certainly handles real good, just needs redesign in terms of his overall structure. And then the young ladies lamb that rounds out the class has spent a couple of too many days on feed, just one that in terms of overall finish needs to be trimmer. Give these kids a good hand.
Now entering the ring is Class 5 Wayne County bred, born, and raised market lambs. This is your first call for Class 6 Wayne County bred, born, and raised. Lambs weighing 139 to 141. The results of the last class are as follows. In 7th place, Abby Bezanson. In 6th place, Craig Weller. In fifth place, Elizabeth Gilson. In fourth place, Kirsten Swain. In third place, Maxwell Johan. In second place, Sydney Elmler. And in first place, Alexis Snyder.
There you go. Sounds good.
The class sponsor for this class is Tri-County Animal Clinic. Thank you.
Got a really massive sheep to start the class. A really wide-chested, big back, big-butted lamb. Just got tons of product in this one. I'd like to see him maybe have a little more foot and bone, but a really square-made sheep that just packs in tons of muscle. Young man does a good job getting that one fed and getting him presented. Nothing to take away from the lamb here in second. He's certainly a really pretty lamb from the side. I love him on the move. Love the way he's made. I love his foot and bone. Just a sheep that in terms of overall shape just doesn't quite beat the one that gets you beat in class, especially from behind. But a really good sheep to be in second. Young lady's lamb here in third. A big-footed, rugged-made lamb that's really big-ribbed and big-topped. Just gets a little plainer in terms of comparing him to the two sheep in front of him. Needs to be a little bit pulled down in his flank in comparison to his chest floor. Needs to have a little more shape from behind. Young lady does a good job getting that one shown. Young man's weather here in fourth. One that's really trim. I like his shape on his top. He needs to be a little smoother out over his loin edge. One that probably could use a little more foot and bone and needs to be a little more, have a little more quality from the side to get up any higher in this class. Next young man's sheep, one that certainly works quite a bit of shape on his top, just needs to have more overall quality in terms of the way he's made from the side. And the young lady's sheep that rounds out the class, same thing, just needs to be a little wider, needs to have more overall muscle, but he did a good job feeding that one. Let's give this class a round of applause.
Now entering the ring is Wayne County bred, born and raised, Class 6. First call, Wayne County bred, born and raised, Class 7. First call, lambs weighing 143 to 145. The results of the last class are as followed. In 6th place, Morgan Vodka. In 5th place, Boaz Zollinger. In 4th place, Tegan Ingold. In 3rd place, Cora Gardner. In 2nd place, Justin Grassball. And in 1st place, Adam Baltic.
race.
Young lady's got a killer natural colored wether to start the class. Just one that I love in terms of the way that this sheep is made. He's monster topped. I mean, he's got a groove down his top. He's really good in terms of his handle. She's done a great job feeding this one. I really like a lot of things about this sheep. Young lady does a good job getting that one shown. Got a really wide-made meat wagon type of sheep to come here in second. One that's really wide-chested and big-ribbed. Handles with tons of shape. Just doesn't have the quite overall look and build, the quality and build as lamb that beats you, but another sheep that you did a really good job feeding. He handles really good. Next young man sheep, I love him through his front end. He's really up-headed, really big-ribbed and big top. Just like to change his sheep in terms of balance on the side profile. He needs to be a little bit deeper flanked in relation to his chest floor, and then also when you can see on the move, I'd like to change him out of his dock and give him more muscle up in his upper hip. Young lady's got a nice blue sheep coming here in fourth, one that certainly handles with a lot of shape down his top. Another one that I'd like to change balance-wise from the profile, but a sheep that's got a lot of product. And the young man's got one that's certainly a big bone, rugged made type of weather. I'd just like to give him more rib. He needs to have more top shape, but the young man does a really good job getting that one shown, getting him presented. Young lady's got a good one to round out the class. Just needs to have more overall shape and width to compete with the sheep that are up higher. But nice class. Give him a round of applause.
Somebody announced we need Cody Cruz to come back to the announcers table. Cody Cruz. Hey, Grandma. Stay here.
Now in the ring is Wayne County bred, born and raised, Class 7. This is your first call for Wayne County bred, born and raised, Class 8. Lambs weighing 146 to 149. The results of the last class are as follows. In 6th place, Olivia Daly. In 5th place, Jaden Regenbach. In 4th place, Amelia Joheim. In 3rd place, Cody Krug. In 2nd place, Kyle Osweski. And in 1st place, Kendra Marty. This is your second call for Wayne County, bred, born, and raised, Class 8. Second call.
This is a reminder that we are using both the north and south aisleways for entrances and exits today. If you are in that area, please clear the area unless you are an exhibitor. Thank you.
I apologize, it took a little longer on that class. We're getting into the weight class where we've got really competitive classes here, and I landed on this young lady's whether to start the class. He's really wide-made, big-footed, huge-ribbed wether that's got tons of muscle shape throughout. She's done a great job feeding him. He handles excellent. When she gets him stuck on the side view, boy, he gives me a good look over from the side. I'll be the first to admit there are some things about his structure that I want to change. When we get him on the move, he gets a little bit closer front, and you can see that. I'd like to make him leveler and squarer out of his hip. But certainly a lamb that's got a lot of good in him. Young lady's done a really good job feeding that one. When she gets him stuck, he looks great. The young lady's whether we got here in second, one that I love the handle on. He's got tons of shape down his top and through his leg. Doesn't have quite the overall chest width and rib shape and overall mass that the lamb that beats him does. One that certainly handles with tons of shape. Just doesn't have the skeletal width, I don't think, that the lamb that beats him does. And then on the side view, that I would like to change him in terms of his chest floor related to his flank. I'd like to, make his flank a little lower, make him balance up a little bit better that way on the side view. But I love his elevation. I love his consistent top line. A sheep that's really, really good. Young lady does a good job with that one. Young lady's whether here in third. I love the handle in that sheep. She's done a great job feeding him. A really wide-chested, big ribbed sheep that's got a lot of width. I'd like to make him a little more extended. That's why the sheep that beats him does. He's a little bit, when you get him on the walk, he's just a little bit lower fronted, needs to have more elevation, but a sheep that's got a lot of good product in him. The sheep that comes here in fourth, one that's got tons of shape, really wide-chested, really big ribbed, really rugged made. He's got a little too much condition for me today. I think he spent a little too much time on feed. One that gets a little bit plainer in terms of his look from the side, but the young man does a good job getting that one presented. And the young man's whether that comes in fifth, one that's certainly very elevated and level from the side view, just needs to have more overall width and muscle to compete with the sheep that are up in front of him, but she got dealt a hard class today, buddy. That's still a pretty nice sheep. Some of the other sheep on down the line here, same thing. Just need to have more overall width and muscle shape, but still really nice sheep that were just in a tough class. Give these kids a round of applause.
This is your first call for Wayne County bred, born and raised, class 9. First call, lambs weighing 152 to 155. Now in the ring is Wayne County bred, born and raised, class 8. The results of the last class are as followed. In 8th place, Bailey Howman. In 7th place, Ava O'Laughlin. In 6th place, Shane Simmons. In 5th place, Carson Rupp. In fourth place, Colt Slanska. In 3rd place, Madeline Brohart. In 2nd place, Morgan Shepard. And in 1st place, Delaney Dew. Would Madeline Brillhart and Colt Solanska come to the announcer's stand, please?
I need you guys.
This is your second call for Class 9, Wayne County bred, born, and raised. Second call, Class 9. Yeah, I just did. Oh, whoops.
We are nearing the end of the Wayne County bred, born, and raised portion of our show. This is a reminder that if you received a blue, red, yellow, or white card, when we call the sheep for final drive, you need to be up in the makeup area ready to go. Again, blue, red, yellow, or white cards, and you need to bring those cards with you, please. Thank you.
apologize it took a little longer on this, sorting out this pair. These are two really, really good sheep. In my opinion, I opted to start with the young man's lamb here. Just a really, really complete lamb that's really wide made, got a bunch of width overall. I think in terms of muscle, these two sheep are pretty similar. And, I like some things about the front end of this sheep a little better. He's a little bit smoother in his chest floor. He's playing extended for me still when we get him on the side view and when we watch him on the walk. Structurally, I really like how this sheep is made. We've got definitely more extremes in this sheep that's in second. Bigger boned, longer bodied probably, a really tall fronted sheep that's, very, very pretty on the side profile. He's a longer shouldered sheep that gets a little bit deeper in his chest floor, and he's got a little bit of breastplate that's sticking out. In terms of muscle, I think the two of them are similar. In terms of handle, the two of them are similar. So I'm going to go with the one that I think is just a little more complete, doesn't quite have the issues that I see up front, but a really, really, really good sheep. He's still here in second for this young man. Both of them really nice sheep. Young ladies, Weather here in third, one that handles with tons of muscle and dimension, just a little plainer in terms of the way he's made compared to the two in front of him. Just doesn't quite have the design, but a really nice sheep that'll cut really well. Young man does a really good job with his lamb here in fourth. Just one that gets it to a little bit plainer in terms of the way he handles. Doesn't quite have the pop of muscle as the three in front of him, but you've done a great job feeding that one. Just doesn't quite have the quality of the three in front of him. Next one that we've got here in fifth, one that certainly profiles really well. Just a little plainer in terms of its overall muscle shape. Needs to have more overall muscle when I get behind him. Could be a little bit trimmer. Young man done a good job with that one. And then the couple that we round out the class with just need to have more overall quality in terms of their skeleton to get any higher. But give these kids a round of applause. A really nice class.
Now entering the ring, Wayne County bred, born, and raised lambs, Class 9. This is your first call for Wayne County bred, born, and raised Class 10. Lambs weighing 160 to 169. The results of the last class are as followed. In 7th place, Cassandra Heiner. In 6th place, Landon Beery. In 5th place, Cooper Baltic. In 4th place, Grady Baltic. In 3rd place, Haley O'Loughlin. In 2nd place, Cole Wallencheck. And in 1st place, Christian Graver. Any exhibitor with a blue, red, yellow, or white card needs to be getting ready and headed up to the makeup ring. Any exhibitor with a blue, red, yellow, or white card needs to be getting ready.
got some give and take in this class, but I landed pretty easily on the young lady's wether to start the class. One that handles extremely good. I love the shape he's got down his top. I'd like to change him a little out of his dock, and I'd like to give him a little more shape from behind, but young lady does a good job getting him stuck. He looks excellent right there on the profile. Just a nice, pretty complete sheep that puts a lot of good things together in this class. Young man's got a really wide-made, heavy muscled lamb here in second. One that he's done a good job feeding. Just doesn't quite have some of the bells and whistles as the lamb in front of him, but another one that's just very basic in terms of having some shape and having some width. The young lady's sheep here in third. When she gets him stuck on the side view, he's a really tall-fronted, level-made type of sheep. I'd like to give him more foot and bone. I'd like to give him, he's got a little extra set to his rear leg, and then he gets a little pinched in terms of his forerib. I'd like to change him there, but you've done a good job feeding him. He handles really good. Young lady's lamb here in fourth, a big-footed lamb that's certainly really long-bodied. Yeah. And extended up front. Just one that, when I get behind him, needs to have more overall shape and dimension, especially down through his leg. And really attractive, natural-colored wether here, certainly big-footed, big-bone, elevated up through his front end. Just a softer handling lamb that needs to have more shape overall, especially when I get behind him to get up any higher. But certainly some nice sheep here in this heavier division.
Now entering the ring is Wayne County bred, born and raised, Class 10. This is your second call for anyone that has a blue, red, yellow, or white card. The placings of the last class are as follows. In 7th place, Mary Weller. In 6th place, Jevin Regenbaugh. In 5th place, William Shepard. In 4th place, Caitlin Carr. In 3rd place, Paige Maylaw. In 2nd place, Cameron Carr. And in 1st place, Emily Snyder. This is your final call for anyone that has a colored card. Final call for anyone that has a colored card.
Young lady's got a really complete lamb in my mind to start the class. One that when I get my hands on him is just really super firm, super fresh. She's done a really good job feeding this. When she gets him parked on the side view, he profiles really good. Just one that's not extreme in any one area, but covers the bases and has a lot of good things to offer. The lamb here in second, a really wide-chested, big-ribbed lamb that's got tons of shape over his top. Gets a little plainer on the side view, needs to smooth him up over his chest best, make him have a little bit more quality in terms of profile when we compare him to the class winner. But a lamb that's got a lot of meat and potatoes, certainly done a good job feeding that one. Young man's lamb here in third, a long level type of a sheep, certainly big-footed, just needs to be a little better on the side view. He's a little plainer and coarser through his front 1/3, just needs to have more quality to beat the two that were in front of him. The Dorset Weather here in fourth, one that's certainly got a lot of extension up front, just needs to be overall wider and have more muscle shape to get any higher in the class. And the Weather that rounds out the class, one that's certainly got a lot of top shape, a big ribbed Weather, just needs to have more muscle overall. Good job, thanks.
Oh, it's okay. It's fine. Thanks, though.
Wait, so are these are all the class winners, right? Yeah. And if they take one, they'll pull in second place. I don't know how many places are. 10 something. How many places? 10?
Picture right there.
10?
Now in the ring for champion Wayne County bred, born, and raised market lamb from Class 1, Charity Keller, Class 2, Bren Shear, Class 3, Mackenzie Wolford, Class 4, Alexis Snyder, Class 5, Adam Baltic, Class 6, Kendra Marty, Class 7, Delaney Dute, Class 8, Christian Graber, Class 9, Emily Snyder, and Class 10, Rebecca Carr.
On my phone?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mike. Gosh. All that one time.
What? We'll give all these kids a round of applause out here in the Born and Raised division. It says a lot for Wayne County to see this type of quality in the Born and Raised show. This is really, really impressive. I mean, there's a bunch of good sheep out here, and I think, you know, you can make some arguments. There's one sheep out here that hit me really, really hard when they came into class. So I'm going to go ahead and use this young lady's natural colored band right here. I'll reevaluate for reserve, and then I'll get back on the mic.
Your grand champion, Wayne County, bred, born, and raised, went to Kendra Marty. Her banner was sponsored by Shear Show Stock and Reed Trucking.
As you can see, I didn't completely have my mind made up on reserve, but I'm going to go out, and I think we're picking top 10 here, so I'm going to go out and select your reserve, and then I'll continue to just select the top 5. I'll give the other ones time to come in. I may walk them as we go, but give these kids another round of applause. Really impressive set.
Your reserve champion, Wayne County bred, born and raised, went to Christian Graber. It was sponsored by Sheer Showstock and John and Deanna Sticka and family.
Have you?
Your third overall, Wayne County bred, born and raised, Market Lamb, went to Cole Wallencheck. It was sponsored by Bob Graber, auctioneer. Your fourth overall, Wayne County bred, born and raised, Market Lamb, went to Charity Keller, sponsored by Borman Farms. Your fifth overall, Wayne County bred, born and raised, Market Lamb, went to Delaney Duke, sponsored by Bob Graber, auctioneer. Your sixth overall, Wayne County bred, born and raised, Market Lamb, went to Adam Baltic, sponsored by A&M Showstock. Your seventh overall, Wayne County bred, born and raised, Market Lamb, went to Mackenzie Wolford, sponsored by Bob Graber, auctioneer. Your eighth, Wayne County bred, born and raised, Market Lamb, went to Bryn Shear, sponsored by Zimmerly Club Lambs. Your 9th overall Wayne County bred, born and raised Market Lamb went to Gracie Clark, sponsored by Borman Farms. Your 10th overall Wayne County bred, born and raised Market Lamb went to Kyle Osveski, sponsored by Bob Graber Auctioneer. This is your first call for Class 1 single market lamb. Lambs weighing 101 to 114. First call, Class 1. This is your second call for Class 1 single market lamb. Second call, Class 1.
First call, Class 2 single market lambs. Second call, Class 2 single market lambs. Final call, Class 2 single market lambs.
some give and take in this lightweight class. You know, pretty much all of these lambs are still really green. I gotta stay back here. I'm starting with the young ladies lamb, a pretty wide-chested lamb that's got some rib shape. Handle's really firm with a lot of shape over his top, especially. He's a big hip lamb. Certainly would like to see him a little better designed from the side, but you know, he's one that definitely has a lot of muscle to offer. The next lamb in line, one that's tall fronted and profile is good. I like his front end. Just needs to have more rib shape, needs to have more shape over his top and from behind. Lamb that's still really green. Next young lady's lamb, certainly long bodied and tall fronted, a very extended lamb. Just needs to have more width and muscle throughout. And the next lamb in line, one that I really like from the side, just needs to have more overall muscle shape, especially down his top and then down through his leg. Couple lambs that round out the class, same thing, just need more overall quality and shape to compete and get any higher. Let's give these kids a good round of applause.
First call, Class 3 single market lambs. The placings from Class 1 are as follows. First, Hannah Smith. Second, Landon Daso. Third, Michaela Smith. Fourth, Riley Daso. Fifth, Paul Hostetler. And sixth, Oliver Kitchen. That class was sponsored by Todd and Katie Zimmerly. Thank you.
There's only 5 classes.
Second call, Class 3 single market lambs. Final call for Class 3 single market lambs.
Jacqueline Zerker, if you are in the sheep barn at this time, could you please come to the announcer's stand? Again, Jacqueline Zerker, please come to the announcer's table.
Like 5 steps forward, just step right up here, because when I talk those on down the line, I can't go that far with the mic so I can see those sheep. That's good, thank you. In these top 3, we've got some give and take, and I opted to start with the widest made, heaviest muscled lamb that still to me is plenty good and in his design and in terms of his skeleton and the way he's made. Ideally, I'd like to see him more extended through his front 1/3 and have a little more look from the side, but boy, this thing is wide made and packed with tons of muscle. He's got a groove down his top. In terms of overall, I'd like to make, he's a little quick pattern, I'd like to make his size a little bigger, but a lamb that is, for me, just starts the class. The next lamb here handles with tons of shape, he's really big bone. On the side profile, you can see he's a little coarser through his front end, he's a little deep chested, gets a little rounder out of his hip, but boy, one that handles with a lot of shape. I like the way he's just very rugged made. The young man's done a good job feeding that one. The pretty sheep is in 3rd. I love the sheep from the side. Certainly one that's got really a lot of extension up through his front 1/3. I'd like to just make this one wider, give it a little more foot and bone and a little more muscle shape overall to let it compete with the 2 wethers in front of it. A sheep that handles really good, just needs to be wider and have a little more muscle. The next sheep here of mine is a big bone, rugged made type of sheep. It's got a lot of rib shape, handles really good up through its top. Just, to me, needs to have a little more shape right on top of his rib cage, and then gets a little rounder out of his hip, needs to have a little more shape from behind. Young lady does a good job with that one. And a really tall-fronted, rubber-made lamb to come here in 5th, just one that needs to have more shape from behind for sure. Young ladies on down the line, nice sheep, just need more quality in terms of their skeleton and overall makeup. Thank you.
First call for Class 4 single market lambs. The placings from Class 2 are as follows. First, Ava Bezanson. Second, Braylon Arnold. Third, Jillian Johnson. Fourth, Riley Grosjean. Fifth, Louis Sabor. Sixth, Taryn Stoller. And 7th, Evelyn Hosteller. Thank you to our sponsors, Todd and Katie Zimmerly. for Class 4 single market lambs.
Really complete, solid sheep to start the class. This one hit me pretty hard. I love the way this one's made. Just really a well-made, level type of sheep that handles really well when I get my hands on him. Young man does a good job getting this one presented. Next sheep in line is a really tall fronted, really elevated up through that front 1/3. I'd like to change him a little bit structurally through the hind end. Just a little bit rounder hip and has a little extra set to the hock. One that handles really, really well. You've done a good job feeding it, just doesn't quite have the quality in terms of structure in the rear quarter as the one that beats you. Good job. Next young lady, another one that's really tall fronted. I like the way that this one's put together in her front end and how she handles on her up, on top of her rack. Just she needs to be made different out through her hip and out through her dock. I'd like to see her have more muscle from behind, but the young lady does a good job with this one. Young man's got a really long, level lamb here that comes here in fifth. Just needs to have more foot and bone, needs to have more muscle when I get behind this one. Give these kids a round of applause, a really nice class.
First call, Class 5 single market lambs. Our placings from Class 3 are as follows. First, Kayla Badger. Second, Josie Emler. Third, Jewel Stoller. Fourth, Hayden Stoller. Fifth, Brooke Hershey. Sixth, Nicole Troyan. And seventh, Bryce Nussbaum. Thank you to our sponsor, Todd and Katie Zimmerly. For Class 5 market lambs. All first and second places from the previous classes need to be on deck. First and second place from the previous classes, please report to the makeup area.
We've got two really, really high caliber sheep in the top pair of this class. They're different types of sheep, and this is the way that I like them today. To me, the sheep that starts the class, I'll be the first to admit, I'd like to change him in his front end a little bit. I'd like to make him a little smoother shouldered and a little smoother through his chest, but I think his chest floor from the side profile is really good. He's got a little tie in his back. On the walk, you definitely like to fix that. You do a great job showing it out of him, but the reason why I started him is because he is definitely the wider chested, bolder ribbed, wider made sheep, and I think he profiles plenty good, so I'm gonna go ahead and start that one. The young man does an excellent job getting this one shown, and you know, in terms of the way that this one's made up through his front end, I probably prefer it. He's smoother shouldered for sure, but he's the narrower chested, flatter ribbed sheep of the two, but one that totally looks great on the walk. I love the way he's made. He is also the softer handling sheep of the two. He's probably got a little extra hide, doesn't quite have the muscle expression from behind, but another really, really high quality, high caliber sheep there in second. The young lady's sheep here in third, a really, really good handling sheep. I love the way this one handles. You know, it just doesn't have the overall skeletal quality that the two in front of him do. Just needs to be more extended up front, needs to have more overall foot and bone, needs to have more look from the side. But you got stuck in a tough class. It's a good sheep, honey. And the young lady that rounds out the top five, a really big ribbed, big topped lamb that just, same thing, needs to have more quality from the side, needs to have more look in terms of, you know, shape from the side down through his leg and chest floor in relationship to flank, needs to hook in a little better up front. But another good sheep that's got a lot of product. Some of these other sheep on down the line, same thing, just need to have more overall width and muscle and then quality to compete in this class. But very good sheep. Give these kids a round of applause.
Audrey.
The placings from Class 4 are as follows. Kylie Johnson first, Grant Johnson second, Taylor Olszewski third, Liliana Plessinger fourth, Molly Watson fifth, Angelina Van Zyl sixth, and Savannah Berry seventh. Thank you to Zimmerman Club Lambs for sponsoring that class.
really nice complete sheep to start the class for me. Just a really extended sheep through his front 1/3. I love the way that his front end's put together. I love the sheep on the walk. I love his structure, the way he's put together. He handles really good. He's got plenty of shape down his top and down through his leg. Just a really nice solid sheep to start the class. Young man's lamb here in second. Not to take away from this sheep. This is a really good one in his own right. He's a big rib sheep that's got tons of shape down his top. He's a little bit softer handling, and then he's just a tick coarser made through his front end. Comparing him to one that's excellent in terms of the way he's made up front. I'm not calling him a plain fronted sheep at all, but he's just not quite as extended as the one that beats him. A really nice sheep there in second. Young man's lamb here in third. One that handles with a lot of shape down his top. A really tall fronted sheep. I love that about him. He gets a little extra set down in his rear leg, and he just gets a little plainer from the side in terms of foot and bone and some finer things like that. But one that's got a lot of product and a lot of quality in him. The young man does a good job showing that one and did a good job getting him fed. Young lady's lamb here in fourth, one that's long and level, just needs to have more overall width and muscle to compete with the ones in front of him. And kind of the same story for the one here in fifth. Long and level sheep, really like them through their front end, just need to have more overall width and muscle, foot and bone to get any higher in this class. But a really good class. Give all these kids a round of applause.
The placings from Class 5 are as follows. First, Clay Johnson. Second, Caden Zimmerly. Third, Gabe Clark. Fourth, Morgan Johnson. Fifth, Alyssa Troyan. Sixth, Brianna Troyan. Seventh, Daryl Mosley. And that class is sponsored by Zimmerly Club Lambs. If anyone is missing a fifth place showmanship ribbon, it can be found up here on the announcer's stand. Entering for the final drive are from Class 1, Hannah Smith, Class 2, Ava Bazanson, Class 3, Caleb Badger, Class 4, Kylie Johnson, and Class 5, Clay Johnson. Our second places are Landon Deso, Braylon Arnold, Josie Emler, Grant Johnson, and Caden Zimmerly.
Start at 8 instead of 4.
We will not be taking a break following this final drive. We will roll right into our Grand Champion and Reserve Champion Market Lamb overall drive following the top 10 for this group.
Well, again, a really, really impressive set of sheep we've got out here. Give these kids a round of applause. As you can tell, I've spent quite a bit of time looking at these sheep. I go back and forth in my mind. We've got some differences out here. At the end of the day, I'm going to pick the one that I like the best, that hit me real hard, that just has some really, really unique pieces. And, there's a couple of them out here that have extremely unique pieces, but I'm going to go select my favorite. What I'll do is I'll select the champion in reserve, and then we'll know from there, and then I can continue to select them from there. Thank you. Give these kids another round of applause.
Your champion market lamb was exhibited by Kylie Johnson, and that award was sponsored by Wyckoff Family Farm. Your reserve champion market lamb was exhibited by Clay Johnson, and that award was sponsored by Tri-County Animal Clinic. Your third overall market lamb was Christian Graber, and that award was sponsored by Shears Showstock. Your fourth market lamb was Grant Johnson, and that was sponsored by Ken and Laura Wood. Sorry, it's my Friday, apparently. That was Caleb Badger. I apologize for that. Your fifth was Caden Zimmerly. Sixth was Josie Emler. Seventh was Ava Bazanson. Eighth is Braylon Arnold. Ninth is Hannah Smith, and 10th is Landon Daso.
Congratulations. You may all leave the ring.
Congratulations to all of the exhibitors, and you may all now exit the ring. Your grand champion, Wayne County born and raised, was exhibited by Kendra Marty. Your reserve champion was exhibited by Christian Graber. Your single market lamb champion was exhibited by Kylie Johnson, and your reserve champion was Clay Johnson.
Let's give these exhibitors a round of applause. I know I've had a lot of fun judging your sheep show today, and I just want to say I'm really glad to be at a sheep show, and I'm really glad to be at a county fair, and I am thankful to all the people here that made it happen. And kids, I'm sure you know, and everybody tells you, but you are blessed to have the people that support you. Go thank them for sure after we get out of the ring. You know, when it comes down to picking the champions, there's 4 really nice sheep out here. You could, you know, these are state level sheep, and there's state level sheep that are back in the ring. I would definitely consider this one of the toughest county fairs in Ohio. This is a really tough sheep show. There's one sheep out here that hit me really hard when he came into class. I think that in terms of skeletal quality, he just, in my mind, doesn't really have a flaw. And this one's really hard to make. One like this is, you know, these other sheep in here are way good too. I mean, I love this sheep in terms of his mass, his overall just rib shape and muscle volume, but the skeletal quality on this one is way good, and this is going to be your grand. Like I said, this sheep is so wide, so blown apart. I love him. I just don't love him on the walk. So he's going to be reserved. Good job, guys.
Your grand champion market lamb overall was exhibited by Kendra Marty, and your reserve champion market lamb overall was exhibited by Kylie Johnson. Congratulations.
sleeve it said here. Okay.